economy completely. They control the interest rates. They control everything about the economy. Federal Reserve, that's what we call it here. It's a central bank. And those who own this bank are the Rothschilds, the Schiffs, and more people that we're going to get into in just a minute. Next. World Bank. Well, that is the next step up. If you were to do research on what transpired in Indonesia to bring that nation to its knees, to crumble it to the ground, you have this bank right at the heart of it. One of the things that the World Bank does, and again, this is a bank that was founded by the banking elite of the New World Order. So one of the things that they did was to make an agreement with the head of Indonesia that if you will do such and such, we will do such and such. And as a result, lots of money went into the man's hands who overtook or overthrew the government. They were allowed to come in and do considerable improvements in Indonesia, charging the nation for these improvements. And when it was all over, the country couldn't pay for it. It was so enormous. And they began, by that means, to break down the government, break down the people, break down the country, just like we've seen here. They put the country into such enormous debt that the people become so poor they cannot fight them. That's one of the jobs of the World Bank. Isn't that exciting? Okay, next. The International Monetary Fund, they're kind of above the World Bank. And next. And they're just like well, isn't it the IMF that is going to be, or is maybe even now, conjoined with the United Nations to bring about this one world monetary system? A wonderful place, this IMF. And above that is the BIS, if I remember correctly. So the BIS kind of oversees all the other banks. It is the kingpin. It is the head of the head. This is in this, the Lord spoke to me and he said, America is Illuminati. The banking system is Illuminati. Write that down. We're not becoming Illuminati. Our banking system is not being swallowed up by the Illuminati. It is Illuminati. Then he said, the Supreme Court, what do we have next? The Supreme Court is Illuminati. If you want to know why the Supreme Court has made such a mess of things, it's because it is Illuminati. What they're doing is to break America down step by step as far as their responsibility is. And they've been able to achieve it because it is Illuminati. Laws are being made all the time. Laws are being changed all the time because, and it's working toward the New World Order. Our Supreme Court is Illuminati. Okay, let's look at the capitals. So, the United States Capitol. Now, this is representing government in America. Our government is Illuminati. It's not becoming Illuminati. It is. If you wonder why things keep going wrong and why it keeps getting worse and worse and worse no matter how you vote, it's because our government is Illuminati. And if you're going to survive in it, you are somehow going to have to adapt yourself to the Illuminati in the government. You've heard of a new term lately, I'm sure, and the term is progressive. And this progressive outlook, ideology that is being trumpeted across America At first, it was just Democrat. You notice that? But this year, it's also becoming Republican. Because the ideology of the progressive is Illuminati, completely and entirely. So when you start hearing a politician trump progressivism, know who's speaking. It is someone that is somehow, major or minor, connected with the New World Order. And their ideology will cause them to bend toward dismantling America as a sovereign nation and bringing it into order, in the New World Order. So you have the Democrats, you have the progressives, mostly Democrat, and you have the Republicans, and they're now starting to trump progressivism. Whether you vote Democrat or whether you vote Republican, so many of them, a large percentage of them, have somehow been ingested by the New World Order already. Now, I don't believe that people like Michelle Bachmann, I don't believe she's Illuminati. I really have a lot of respect for her. I was really hoping beyond hope. But there are those who are running that make me very nervous. And you need to be very prayerful about who you vote for. So above our capital is the EU, and that's the picture, there you go. The EU Illuminati system, the system that is set up across Europe to prepare and entrench Europe in the New World Order so that they can, gain their groundswell, gain their strength, gain their concepts, what will work, what won't work, so that when they come after America, everything is going to be in order. So you'd be amazed at how much is going on in America that is going on here because of what's going on in the EU, in the EU Parliamentary Building. I wish I had another picture. I wish I would have brought it, but I didn't think about it then. I wish I would have brought a picture of London, that the Crown. I didn't bring it though. The Crown is 10 square, what is it? How big? I'm sorry? 677 acres, and it rules the world. It certainly rules America. So much of what comes out of there lands like a bird at the CFR. And there at the CFR, they kind of, bundle together what's coming in from Europe, what's coming in from the Rand Corporation, what's coming in from this think tank and that think tank. And they bundle it all up together and they look at it all. And they decide what's going to stay and what's going to be thrown out. And then they present it to those that are hidden in the background of the CFR. When it is accepted and established, it goes from the CFR to the United Nations and will eventually become law in America. So, show me the 3 cities, Elizabeth. Our economy, as I already said, is Illuminati. Now you have 3 city-states here, London, D.C., and the Vatican. In 1982, if I remember correctly, D.C. signed an agreement and joined with London. This isn't London, this is the Crown in London. And in this agreement, we decided that D.C. would come in under the government of the Crown in London, 1982. The reason we discovered this information is because I and my team had kind of pulled away for a weekend to spend it in prayer before the Lord, to hear His voice, to know what He was saying. And He gave me a vision. And I saw this conjoining of America with London. And he told me the very date that it happened. And we looked for months and months and months. We looked for years. It just was not easy to find what happened on that particular date that so made us so vulnerable to what was going on in Europe, made us so vulnerable to the New World Order. And it turned out to be this conjoining of London and D.C., bringing America in under the powers of the Crown in London. Perfect for the New World Order. So here we are, so many years later, and we are, tell me, we are what? Right. Okay, and in religion. While she's doing that, also, he showed me in the vision that universities, our educational system, is Illuminati. It's amazing because